Hey there, friendlies. How's up? Welcome to the 24th of February episode of my fantabulous live stream. I'm just getting my shoes off here. Going my Mr. Rogers, flipping off the shoes. So yes, welcome to the live stream where we got bevies, we got blades, and we may in fact talk about something bushcraft related, bushcraft adjacent, bushcrafty, crafty. What? If you're watching, it's time shifted to tomorrow or next week or whatever. Thank you for doing that. I love knowing that you're watching after the fact, even though you cannot participate in the side chat that's happening right about there, although there's nothing happening there right now. And I love seeing the occasional comment pop up in the doobly-doo below the video window. If at any point tonight you absolutely adore what you're hearing or watching or the conversation you're having, I invite you to give me a smiley thumb. If at any point tonight you kind of hate what's going on, that's all right. The frowny thumb works just as well. And if you would like to play your part in keeping me rolling in money, sorry, I wasn't expecting to say that. If you want to play your part in keeping that light on, please right click the join button, open it in another tab, and investigate what is open to you for your hard earned folding cash, by which I mean 2 tiers. I got nothing tonight. I don't know what to talk about. I'm tired. I'm having a big week. I just today finished a project that has been sapping my will to live since the start of January. I'm just glad it's over. I'm exhausted. I want to celebrate with you guys. So in celebration, I am having a bière russe anglaise. It's an extra special bitter. It's not actually English. It's from here in Quebec, but it's an English bitter. That's what you call it, an English red, brown. But it's an extra special bitter, for God's sakes, Jess. And then at 10, I have the Glengoyne 10, because 10, right? 10 p.m., 10 years. Will you just focus? You are such an asshole, Mr. Camera. Come on, fool. Come on. You can do it. There we go. Because I've had this bottle for a long time, and it's getting down to the point where I should be bottling it down. I gigged this weekend. So, I mean, I'm kind of, whenever I gig at the ripe old age I'm at, I'm kind of a wreck until Wednesday. But, you know, I'm really trying to get into bed earlier these days. I had a very sobering visit with my doctor yesterday. So, I should really not be opening a beer and having a whiskey tonight. But, you know, we're feeling celebratory. We're feeling celebratory. Recognize the glass? Let's see if I can do this without duffing it up. I'm trying to show it on screen here. I can't judge whether or not I'm blowing it because I can't see what the head is doing. Actually, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. There you go. Extra special bitter. Come on, fool. There we go. That's an extra special bitter, all right. So you guys know that IPA makes me dry heave, and that's a bitter, but it's a different kind of bitter in this stuff. It's not that obnoxious hoppy kind of, you know, I'm fabulous and bitter in the sharp, unpleasant way. This is a more of a rounded bitterness. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back over the Chitty chat, and I'm going to see who's kicking back with us. I do know that Christy was number 1 tonight, and Mark was number 2, which is cool. I like it when my expectations are sort of shaken a little bit. So there was Christy popping in first. God darn, burn it, YouTube. There we go. Christy's a channel hero, by the way. Number 2 was Mr. Bluegrass Bigfoot, Mr. Mark, who is also a channel hero. Letting you know. And then there was me saying hi. And then Charles and Annie were the third of the friends to pop in. Nice to hear from you guys. I hope the weather is treating you well. I hope life is treating you well. And Charles and Annie say that they hope everyone's having a good week, and I do as well. And there we go. Our household author. I have not bought your book yet. I keep meaning to do it and forgetting, but I know that some of the others, some of our other friends have, and I'm going to pick it up so that we can have maybe like a book club discussion one of these Tuesdays. So I should have. I wish I'd put the purchase link down below again. I'm just thinking about that now. Anyways, but yes, I'm going to pick up your book. Raining and not too hot this morning. That's cool. I like that. Yeah, it looks like Christy beat Scott this week. Truth. I wonder where Scott is. I got a ping from him on the Discord, but I only noticed it right before coming online, so I haven't had time to answer him yet. Grace in the house. How are you doing tonight, Grace? Oh, I forgot to mention that Peanut Trucker is a channel mod. So be nice or get the road hammer dropped upon you. And Charles is asking what part of the country he's trucking through this week on this night of nights. I will tell you something. It is cold today up here. No, I mean, it's not. It has been colder, but we had a run of like really balmy, like 0 to -9 days, and then today it was like -14 to -18 or some damn thing. And I was like, what is life? But anyway, excuse me. Country Boy says I was sidetracked, so everyone's here before me. Well, you're here, and that's what counts. Let me know if you guys are picking up any lag. Okay, this weekend I completely rebuilt my home network. Just completely redid it, fixed some problems that I've had with it for a while. But I don't know if it's like I'm getting lag here. So I'm assuming that there's probably some lag happening over on the YouTube page as well. Maybe I should have tried actually putting on the Wi-Fi this time. We'll see. Chris is in Evanston, Wyoming, right on the border of Wyoming and Utah. You must see some crazy places, man. Just scrolling. Steve Grounds in the house. How you doing, Mr. Steve? How's the Steve tonight? Steve, by the way, is a channel hero. Going to need you to bring the energy tonight, Jess. Pump up the volume, boy. Okay, all right. I will bring the energy as much as I can. There's Marcus, and I hope you are doing great, Marcus. I hope you're doing fabulous. Marcus, by the way, is also a channel hero. I'm just scrolling to see who's it's all just people saying hi to each other. So, you know, oh, there's Canadian. How you doing? What I'd like to hit the woods with that guy. Do a little camping. Okay, everyone's doing great. Everyone's saying hi. Hey, there's Paul. How are you doing, Paul? Did you did I show you what whiskey I'm doing this week? Glengoyne 10, which I had actually bought for an online tasting I did on my whiskey channel. 43% alcohol by volume. I don't remember if it's. I don't remember what the chill filtration and caramel coloring is on this. I'm assuming it is, but natural color, okay, from Time and Oak casks alone. So no caramel coloring, but I don't see anything about chill filtration. So what are you drinking tonight, Paul? Are you having something? Just moving on down. Moving on down there. Hey, there's Destiny. How you doing, Destiny? How are things in Destiny Land? And tell us all about your charcuterie board tonight. And by the way, thank you for saying hi to me. To me. Excuse me. Peanut Trucker says, just an FYI, anyone who bought my book last week, the text file got corrupted in the download, messing up 2 paragraphs, and has been fixed. If anyone wants the new one, message me and I'll send you one. Okay. Maybe it's a good thing I haven't bought it yet then. I'm scrolling. Bam, 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 bam. It adds character. Do you guys remember? Do I still have it or did I get rid of it? My copy of. I'm going to need a light. Just give me a second to see if I still got that book. Was it this? I think my copy of this has some messed upness. CBC is telling me it's the State of the Union tonight. Okay. Was it this one? Maybe it was a different one, but one of my books. I have a book. It's something kind of like this where a couple of the image pages or whatever are super tiny and some of the pages are a little cockeyed, and I think it was Destiny or maybe Grace have the same book, but their edition doesn't have the mess up. I'm looking through and it's probably not this book. It was something that I wanted to do, that I did a reading from back in the day. I don't think it's this one. So what would it have been? I don't remember. Oh well. Yeah, I don't remember. I was going to show it to show Peanut Trucker that, many books have something happen on the. I was editing a book on heart health or diabetes or something. Anyway, and we were doing, I think, a North American edition of it or whatever. And there was a name on the front cover who was taken out of the book for some reason. I don't remember what. I don't remember why. And I was the main editor on this book, but I was. This is a long time ago. And somehow I missed taking that name off the front of the book. And it went to print and came back with the name on the front of the book. Now, That is a very expensive mistake. And here, the thing is, I missed it, and the copy editor missed it, and the head designer missed it, right? But I was the editor of that book. So anyway, stuff like that happens all the time. All the time. Man, my sinuses are giving me nuts tonight. Canadian's cardiologist died this month after battling cancer. I'm waiting on a new one for 6 months so far. My GP retired 10 years ago, and I still don't have one. I'm still on a waiting list. In the province of Quebec, what they've got is for people who are waiting on a GP, they assign you to a clinic, and so you don't have a doctor, but you have a clinic that you can go to for all that stuff, which is good because I'm in that clinic all the time. I'm trying to nail down my ADHD meds, getting my blood pressure squared away, now I've got some cholesterol stuff to deal with. Anyway, whatever. Who cares? But yeah, I waited for a GP for a long time. This is better than where I was 5 years ago, where I had no one to see, you know? Destiny got an ad. Hey, there's Tenenbaum. How are you doing tonight? Mr. Baum? Oh, I forgot to mention. I just lost my place. Oh, I hate that. I forgot to mention that Tenenbaum is a channel mod, so be nice. Or get the bomb dropped upon you. There's Susie Q. I hope you're doing well tonight, Susie. I hope that all is well in Susie Q land. Destiny is asking, I was just thinking, wouldn't it be funny if we all knew each other in a previous life? I think Jess and I were soldiers or coureurs de bois. So the coureurs de bois were the unlicensed fur traders and I think trappers as well, whereas the voyageurs were the ones who worked for like the Hudson's Bay Company or were the government licensed ones. Very different lives for sure, because the voyageurs were, like there was 18 of them in these huge canoes. I was like, whoa. I think I would prefer coureur de bois because it sounds more solitary. Oh, am I at the end? No, I'm not. It's just nothing's working. Again. Shite. Just give me a second here. Why do you do this to me? Silly little computer program. I have to find where we were. Okay. Chris is talking about his book. It's on Amazon, but it's not live again yet. I had to have it redone. Maybe someone can drop a link. Should be up in a day or two. Okay. Christy's asked, did everyone see that the planets are going to line up on the 28th? I know I did not see that, but I will keep an eye. There's Mr. Long's Quest. How you doing, Skip? How are things in Skip land today? You freezing? Why is my... Jesus Christ. Work, will you? Stupid computer. Anyway. Everyone's saying hi to Skip. Yeah. Chris is saying he's glad I didn't buy it yet. When it comes live again, the paragraphs should be fixed. Good to know. I'll take a look in a couple of days. Destiny says that she thinks that Christy and Russell were brother and sister. They argue like it sometimes, for sure. Christy says, "Yep, he's like my little annoying brother." I wonder where he is tonight. I wonder if he's visiting his mom. I also think David and Marcus are brothers and or in the military somehow. Foxhole mates, watching each other's back. Canadian booked a cruise finally for August. Mist should be cleared by then. That sounds good to me. I like that. That's good news. A Guinness Zero with a peanut butter O. Henry. I do love me some of that O. Henry magic, and the peanut butter one is just fine by me. Oh, hi, Jess. Yeah, hi there. I missed her. There's Marcel. How you doing, Marcel? Excuse me. David's here, but he's watching the State of the Union address at the same time. Better than me. You couldn't pay. Actually, you could pay me. You could pay me for sure. Country Boy is still sidetracked, but reading more than typing tonight. That's fine. Ain't no problem. Destiny thinks that Country Boy had his own atelier in France. Maybe during the Renaissance. High-end leather design and refinement. It would be cool to have like those ateliers are gone for the most part these days, but I think it would be so cool to have that kind of like workshop with a built-in storefront where you can, someone can walk in and say, I would like you to make me something. And you could just, okay, yep. And then you just turn and there's all your tools. There are all your tools and you can just get to work and make something beautiful. And then a week later, the person walks in again and you just put it on the counter. Here it is, monsieur. I mean, it's a different time, It's a different world. Sean Alaska said, first of all, hi, Sean. Even audiobooks have editing issues. So I'm listening to an audiobook now for kind of the first, not really the first time, but almost the first time. I tried to listen to the Silmarillion because I tried reading it like 3 times. And each time I was like, nope. So I was like, hey, I'm going to try listening to it. And I did. And I was like, nope. Anyways, I'm listening to an audiobook right now because I don't have time to read, but I do have like this downtime while I'm driving to work and back. So I figured that, I would try an audiobook for the commute. It's Termination Shock by Neil Stephenson. I think Neil Stephenson is pretty interesting as an author. Because, when he started, he was one of the cyberpunks. Did I have this conversation with you guys already? No. But like he didn't stick with it. I mean, I guess William Gibson didn't stick strictly cyberpunk either, but Neil Stephenson shows a lot of authorial curiosity, I guess. Like he writes, there's always kind of a future or past or like speculative fiction thrust in his work for sure. But it's always kind of something interesting and something kind of different. Oh, Zodiac was more of an ecological thriller, I guess. But anyway. And so I was going to say, one of the issues with audiobooks is that this story has a bunch of people with different accents in it because they're from different countries and there are people of both genders. And one thing that really bugs me is how so often male voice actors, when they're voicing a female character, will just raise their voice by like an octave. I'm like, that's a BS choice, dude. Anyway, whatever. I'm not going to get too discombobulated about it. Destiny says that Marcel was a chef in an aristocratic British or French household, maybe even Spanish. I could easily see her in a BBC remake of some literary classic. Country Boy says that my past life was a pillaging Viking, becoming the reason why so many Scottish and Irish people have red hair. Peanut Trucker has 4 other books that are short stories, but The Broken Road Home was my big one, and I feel bad it got messed up. Yeah, well, yeah, I could see that. I mean, it's always a shame when you put something big into the world and there's an eek somewhere, for sure. Destiny thinks that Marcus was a spy and David was a king's right-hand man. Not sure which era. Well, kings still have right-hand men now. Excuse me. Oh, come on, sinuses. Long's Quest. You have ADHD? Now I know why you set up the rainfly blocking the fire from the hammock. Yeah, I only found out last May what my problem was. Wow. Serge, I have not seen that handle in a long, long time. How you doing? And why did you switch to Roadside Rodent? Like, I haven't seen Roadside Rodent since Serge and I worked together. In like what, 1990 what? Anyways, welcome to the show. Chris says, I think Marcus and I were brothers. David was our dad. He was our grandfather, Chris. Oh, stupid sneezes. Destiny, you and Jess are our cousins. But are we the cousins that nobody talks to? Like the cousins who don't get invited to the parties? Hi, good Mike. How you doing? Been getting cold fronts the past couple of weeks. Cold in Florida, but we have a fire ban, no campfires. We have a serious drought. All the springs, rivers, and lake levels are really low. Wow, that sucks. Because I guess you're not getting like snow on the ground to oh no. I've already yawned. Oh no. All your books are audio as well? That's interesting. It's good to know. Do you do the reading yourself? Kindle, Kindle, Kindle. I made it out of clay. Sean Alaska says, audiobooks are my main go-to, driving or by the fire. The narrator makes the book, and I devour them. Last year, I did 150 books. Holy schnapps. I've had to borrow my book. No, I'm on my 3rd borrowing because I have no time aside from what I should be doing is putting on an audiobook when I get on like the exercise bike or something, you know? I'm just adjusting my sitting here to get a little more comfy. A little bit more comfy. Destiny says that there are some very beautifully phrased sentences in Peanut Trucker's book. Good to know. Hey, Quit Mike says, all my books are in the bathroom. That's the only place I have time to read them. I thought bathrooms were more like magazine territory. Destiny's asking Mike if there's a rainy season coming on soon. Chrissy says hurricane season. I guess Mike also says not until hurricane season. Wow. They get you coming and going, don't they? Drought, then a hurricane. Nice. Destiny can also see Country Boy in Scotland yelling, freedom! Yeah, Celsius Roadside Rodent. Yeah. I'm just wondering why he's back to that name. Country boy's ancestors are from the Highlands of Scotland, so that history is part of my history. Oh, Peanut Trucker. They're on Kindle, not audio. Okay. Add. Sorry. Oh, Sal says, yeah, I didn't change profile since I was changing the sheets on the bed. Okay, fair enough. Fitzy was a maid and a Dutch sailor, also around in the Renaissance, and definitely Victorian England, a stint in France, and a ton of soldier lives. Oops. Yes, YouTube did reset the profile names. That's why everyone's got like numbers. You can go into your settings and reset it to what you want, which is what I did. But not everyone did, which is why if you see like names with a whole bunch of numbers at the end, it's because they haven't gone in and fixed it. Carol's in the house. How you doing? What's new in Carolland? 2133. Haven't logged on this profile in a while. I haven't seen that profile name in a while. Not in a while. So I have not seen Hider Tale of Russell yet tonight. I hope he's doing all right. Hike with Mike. The town I grew up in, Florida, was founded by Scottish settlers. The town is called Dunedin, and our school band had a bagpipe section. How good were those pipers though? Because I mean, pipes, that's a hell of an instrument. Like you got to throw some time into them. I mean, you got to put some time into all instruments, but like you don't hear very many people saying, "Yeah, I played the pipes in high school," but then I kind of let it drop. I never took up the pipes. I had at least one cousin who played the pipes. I mean, I had several cousins in the Black Watch, and one of them picked up the pipes. Was it one, two? Just one, I think. But it was like it was a thing for my cousins. That side of the family to join the Black Watch. One of them was the regimental sergeant major. I think he's retired now. Guy was deaf in one ear from firing boomsticks. Earlier generation. I was impressed you pronounced Dunedin correctly. I think I checked with you once, like a year or two ago. My family is from around Dundee. Well, my grandmother's family, not my family. But yeah, Dundee. So not really Highland Skirl kind of territory, more like lowland, ugly industrial heartland kind of. I think Jess was also a scribe, hence his love of journals in this lifetime. I could see scribe. I could see scribe. Excuse me. I wonder how interesting a scribe's life was, or like how interesting the stuff that a scribe wrote was, because like when scribes were a thing, they were scribes because not everyone could read or write, and kings didn't want to take their damn time, or emperors or whatever, to like. So a lot of what scribes must have written was probably some pretty mundane shit, like tallying up properties for taxation purposes, or I mean, obviously writing letters from the emperor to the other emperor. Yeah, I get that. But like, how much of what they wrote was just this mundane day to day crap? You know? Because like without scribes, we would have no history. Fair point. Fair point. I mean, beyond a certain point, a lot of our history does come down to us from oral sources for sure. Peanut Trucker says, we need some more thumbs up. The hammer can still see even though he's watching TV. Are we a little light on the thumbs ups? Am I being boring? Is that what's going on? You guys are punishing me for boring you? I told you it's been a rough few weeks. I'm just happy to be kicking back with you folks. Kicking back. I've had a couple of instances lately actually where I've overcome executive dysfunction. Like, for instance, our mailbox fell off last week. It had been hanging on by one screw forever because it's an ancient box. The screws were old. They were coming out of the brickwork, and it just finally came off. And so we had it on the ground, not on the ground, but like on the floor of the balcony, so propped there, like, please throw mail into me. And I think like today or yesterday at lunchtime, yesterday, I ran upstairs to get the mail. I looked at the lunchbox, at the mailbox, and I was like, I will do this now, or the impulse will pass and it will stay there for a month. And so I immediately went down, got two big honking screws, and my impact driver ran upstairs and and hung the mailbox. And like I've done a bunch of things like that lately. And each of those is a major victory, a major freaking victory, because I get frozen by everything. But anyways, Christy, do you need 10 for that pour or not? Because it is towards the bottom of the bottle. So like, Paul can probably contradict me on this, but in my opinion, once you're past that neck pour, like once the bottle's been open a certain amount of time, the minute in the glass per year in the cask no longer really counts. But I do it anyway because I'm a classicist, and because I need to do it because my brain is poorly wired. Like it's must do it. Like I think that the effect, the opening up of the dram that happens when you leave it is not as serious, but it's always nice to leave your dram breathe a little bit after pouring it. It's always nice to just let it sit there for a couple of minutes or a few minutes or 10 minutes. I see you're asking because it's 9:40. Yeah. So I'm going to pour it out at 10 to 10 for sure. Peanut Trucker says, my visit with David and Pam, I learned a little more about Canada and how different places are where you live and where the country boy lives is very interesting. Like our French is in Louisiana. Yeah, so there are like 4 or 5 provinces with quasi-significant French populations. I mean, Quebec is the big boy, but New Brunswick is, I think, 30% Francophone, and it's the only officially bilingual province in Confederation. There's a relatively large Franco-Ontarian population in certain areas. Manitoba's got a big chunk of Francophone population. There's a small but kind of fierce French population in Alberta. And in BC, the French population grows every summer when the fruit fields fill up with, young Quebecers there to pick fruit or plant trees for the summer. But yeah. in like my parents' generation, and I think maybe David's pop generation as well. He's not quite a boomer, but um, up until like my generation here in Quebec, um, there's this term coined by the husband of our former governor general, um, the two solitudes, about how in Quebec the English and the French just did not mix very well, and there was some distrust and stuff. In my generation, of the people I know, I think most of us are in my situation, an Anglo, a Franco, and two perfectly bilingual kids. Like a lot of the things that moved the politics, um, even up into the 70s and 80s, just don't really count anymore. And the parties in power that sort of banked on that kind of stuff are struggling to sort of make one last grasp at relevance. So politics in Quebec is very, very crazy right now. But yeah, anyway. Country Boy's family has a castle in Caithness going back to like the 15th century. My family does not. Uh, Justin says you got your own tartan too. I bet some of those patterns are just amazing. Yeah, some of them are really nice. The tartan that my family, the clan that um my grandmother's family is part of, um, it's a boring tartan in a lot of ways. It's sort of the cliche. It's the Royal Stewart because Cook was a cadet branch of the Royal Stewarts. So it's like it's everywhere. It's on every bloody tea towel. The hunting version is very nice. Like it's a green instead of that obnoxious red. But yeah, I mean, I don't think I own anything. And oh, I've got a no. I don't own anything anymore in our family's tartan. Boom, 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 boom. It's 21:44. I'm keeping an eye on that watch, on that clock, on the time in the corner of my screen. There we are. I know I could work it out if I just kept trying. Excuse me. This is the second time in 2 days I've ended up talking about tartans. That's weird because I go months without even mentioning them. And then suddenly, twice in 2 days. What's going on here, people? What's going on? I don't trust it. Am I on camera? Of course I'm on camera. What the fuck? Oh my gosh. Makes sense, buddy. Blue-green is common. There are different versions, including an ancient one that has some red as well. Yeah. It's funny how like the clan system completely collapsed in Ireland, but not in Scotland. You know, they sort of kept the kilts thing going and everything for, well, all the way up until today. I am scrolling, but nothing is happening. Jim. Yes, you're on camera. I know. I'm on the road home. See you in 30 maybe. All right. Drive safe. Safe home and see you in 30. Is that the end of the beer? Nope. Almost, but not quite. Little tiny bit of beer, bit of beer, bit of beer. Bitter beer. extra special bitter. This is the part of the night where I get kind of punchy, I guess. I had a journal entry prompt a couple of days ago. I showed you guys that I create a sheet of journal prompts, and then I just peel one off at random on a given night. Do, 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 do. No. Where is it? Where the hell is it? I am flustered by the fact that I can't find it. But it was an interesting one because it made me think. I need a second to find this frickin' page. I'm surprised at how often I go back through this. Like, I wasn't expecting to ever look through this journal after it's written. Top 5 science fiction ships to live on. Like, sometimes these prompts are just like, some I pick and some I make up, right? Yeah. Is that it? Restart your YouTube life. What do you do? Okay. Because I was thinking about like the channels I watch the most. Like, I'm not watching a lot of bushcraft stuff right now because it just stresses me out because it just keeps putting it in my Jesse face that I'm not hitting the woods. But I've always been very widely curious. Like, I've always watched a lot of different things. Excuse me. Oh my gosh, that beer. Oh. One of my favorite channels has always been, I think it's called SciShow. It's like a PBS science series. Very well done, sort of keeping science stuff relevant by making it easy for us to understand, but not dumbing it down, just being conversational about it rather than just throwing a bunch of jargon at us. Fabulous. If I was to restart my YouTube life, the kind of channel I would love to emulate is, I don't know how many of you know Dammy Lee. She's an architect, and she likes to explore themes of architecture. But like, the production value of her channel is insanely good. The research is insanely good. And in fact, for every episode, any research that doesn't make it into the episode, they have a PDF of like their research booklet. I mean, it's, I think, $10 or something that you can just buy if you want to see their research. But I massively respect Dammy Lee's channel. That's the kind of thing I would love to like, because clearly, like, she's an architect, but she has 2 channels: one about architecture, and one about like Coruscant. How realistic is a city, is a planet-wide city, you know, and how Coruscant is built, and how, but then like, is Coruscant referencing something earlier in science fiction or an earlier idea in, say, utopian architecture philosophy? And I just love that kind of stuff. It's, I just saw it, Christy. Yeah. I love the idea of being a researcher, you know, and so channels like that where they do the research, they show their work. And it's like the other one I mentioned in that journal entry was 99% invisible, which is about essentially, if I was to say what, if I was to sort of spew into the air from my mouth what that channel is about in my words, it's about the elements of design that you don't usually see, right? So that means they might talk about the design of cities and how traffic impacts lifestyle, or they might talk about the design of regulations around snow clearing, or they might talk about the design of a wood burning stove for like poverty stricken areas or whatever. It's always a research first kind of show, right? Oh, they do a lot of interviews and stuff. Demi Lee does some interviews, but not a lot. But I love these shows where um, they're curious about stuff. They deep dive on this stuff, and we get to watch a really cool episode. But the fight to get from I would like to start a YouTube channel to where Demi Lee is long, and there's a lot of money involved. What are you going to do when you retire? I am going to write a book, and I'm going to make my YouTube channels actually work. I'd probably like start every morning with doing like an hour of light housework, you know, and then whatever needs doing around the house, and then after lunch, work on my projects, kind of thing. But I don't know if I'm going to get to retire, so kind of a modeling question there. Yeah, I saw it, Christy. I glanced at the clock. I was like, and then I saw your note. Yeah. I think in some ways I was probably cut out to be an academic, researching, writing papers, probably teaching students, molding minds. Missed the boat. I kind of think that I'd like to, I won't do it, but part of me would like to get a master's and ask like the question of, do YouTube bushcrafters and Ray Mears and Paul Kirtley and like Leave No Trace and all this, does it move the needle at all on conservation and good stewardship of the land and good camping hygiene? Like, does it really make a difference at all? Or does it have the opposite effect of just getting more and more people into the woods? Which on many fronts is a good thing, right? Because the more people who are familiar with the wilderness, the more people are going to be interested in still having the wilderness, right? Theoretically, conceptually. But I would love to explore that and get grades for it, I guess. Country boy. Retirement, laughing my ass off. Yes. Yes. I'll die on the floor at work. I probably will too, but I would rather retire and get to do something I'm interested in. Oop, 4 more minutes to go. Almost. But I didn't do it. I have a question forming that I want to ask you guys, but I haven't quite. Like, how many of you guys even know about that about SciShow? I think it's SciShow. Like, do you guys like that kind of stuff? Another guy who's really good at that, not quite as deep divey, but pretty damn good, is what's his name? Scott. Not Tom Scott, although he's good at it too. But oh piss, what's his name? Oh jeez, what's the hell's his name? Scott. Jeff? No, not Tom Scott. Yeah, no, it's not Tom Scott. Although his channel is also very, very good. Jeff Scott? No, it's not Jeff Scott. What the fuck was his name? I'm just taking a look to see if I can find him. Someone Scott. I believe he lives in Texas, but he does a lot of Joe Scott. Joe Scott. In fact, his latest episode from yesterday was the most expensive design flaw in history. I like that guy's channel too, Joe Scott. I don't know why I could not remember. Apparently, Country Boys, the maternal side of his family is Stuart. Stuart, like not Stuart of Appin, right? Those guys were horse thieves. Like, I'm not even Scottish, and I just threw that out there. Like, whatever. See, like on the YouTube page for that Joe Scott video, like down the side, there's a whole bunch of like distracting stuff. There's a lot of Joe Scott stuff, but then there's like hot ones. Scott. There's Dammy Lee. There's Keeping a Lighthouse, because we spoke about that. There's an episode on what Ghibli understands about love that Disney doesn't. There's a How to Drink. There's another Joe Scott. How do we know what dinosaurs sounded like? Excuse me while I add that to my watch later. Oh, yeah. Then there's a Complexly video. What animal should I avoid punching? That's Brennan Lee Mulligan asking Hank Green anything. Oh, and then there's a bunch of mega projects. Oh, and then there's a Hot Ones with Anna de Armas watching. Not watching, being interviewed. It is 10. Slanja. Caramelly, vanilla. Fruity though. Juicy. Woody. A little oak spice. So Glengoyne is all about taking their time. Right? The tagline for Glengoyne is unhurried since 1833. I threw away the box. But their whole thing is that they distill more slowly than everyone else does. And now that is supposed to bring out the magic in a bigger way. It's hard as a consumer of Scotch rather than like as a producer or an academic, a Scotch academic. It's hard for me to really judge whether the unhurried part imparts anything special, like over and beyond the other elements of distilling that make like bruichladdich very recognizably bruichladdich, or Ardbeg very recognizably Ardbeg. Like, you're not going to mistake an Ardbeg for a Lafroig, because the Lafroig has that band-aid thing that I dislike, whereas Ardbeg tends to be much lighter on that, some nicely briny, often. I'm going down a rabbit hole. I just want to say that, like, I never know if the marketing piffle on the label really matters, really describes anything of consequence. Green apples, maybe a pear, crisp. Yeah, something green, something herbaceous. Touch of molasses or espresso right at the back. Yeah, a coffee note, that's it. Right off the top. Off the hop, you got the astringent, like an astringent thing. Dries at the very tip of my tongue immediately. It's got a spicy note right there as well. But further back, becomes sweeter, more vanilla, juicier, fruitier, oily. It's got a nice mouthfeel, especially for like something that's a 43%. Country Boy says, keeping a lighthouse would be cool, kind of like monitoring a fire tower. I don't know why I'm drawn to solitary endeavors, considering being alone with my thoughts is a scary place. I would love to be a lighthouse keeper or a fire tower not keeper, whatever they are. My mind is in no way healthy, but I do treasure solitude. Sounds Destiny says, okay, my phlegm and I are heading to the hot tub. I'll be listening. It sounds like you and I have a similar problem tonight. Destiny. But I asked you about your charcuterie board, and did I miss the description? Did I miss the description? I don't remember when was the last time I got to relax in a nice bath. I don't have a hot tub, but bath with some, I don't know, candles, wine. I don't know. I don't really do candles and wine in a bath. I bring my phone in and watch YouTubes or whatever. Candles and wine sounds pretty good, though. I'd probably fall asleep. I always fall asleep these days. I fall asleep everywhere. Now, I realize we haven't done a cocktail live stream in a long time. And I hope that I have time to, maybe this weekend. I just created a new cocktail recently. I put it up on my TikTok last week. And, yep, hold on. Charcuterie board. Veggies, fruit, yogurt, Montpellier, and Icelandic water on the side. No little sausage, those little dry sausages, whatever they're called, carnots, no little pepperoni sticks or Rosette de Lyon or anything like that. No salami. You need to have some cured meats for a true charcuterie board. The true charcuterie board. I often think about stuff like that and how take a couple of thousand years off of today's date. Like, put yourself in the middle of a Roman villa. and you see some like some guy, some noble or whatever sitting there, and he's fat as hell. It wasn't pizza and processed food that got him there. It could have been a thyroid problem or something genetic or whatever, for sure. Absolutely. Metabolism, yeah. But it's not eating chocolate bars. It really is eating too much and not getting off your arse. Like, the cure of certain things was, oh, stop yawning. Like, imagine the lifestyle choices that it would take to become rotund at a time before over-processed food. Like, how much do you have to eat? How much do you have to not get up? You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Like, how does, like, the whole equation is different. And was a fat ass Roman slimmer than a fat ass North American today? I think so. I absolutely think so. Why am I thinking about this? Oh, because of the charcuterie board. Well, yeah, because I was also thinking about how, like, if you have a Roman style lunch, it kind of looks a lot like a charcuterie board. Just because I was reading this from Destiny. I think about stuff like that all the time. Like, I cannot remember, what I need to do today if I don't have a to-do list. But I think about stuff like that all the time. I mean, how, like, what must a Roman market have smelled like down where, especially down where the Roman fast food stalls are, right? Where they got things ready to go. You just go, you pay your you know sesterty, and you get a skewer of something, or like, really their version of street food. Because I mean, not a lot of kitchen stuff going on in a Roman urban villa, right? Yeah, I don't know. Homie, I'm in the house. I'm just sort of kicking back, talking about silly things. How are you doing, Mister Omi? Mister Omi. Um, yeah, I was just talking about. I was sort of riffing on Destiny's charcuterie board and talking about how, if you look at what, like, a Roman ate for lunch, it kind of comes off as a charcuterie board in a lot of ways. Like, I'm not talking about a massive feast, right? Where they're throwing boar down on the, on the planche. The first time I went to the missus's mother's place to meet, like, the aunts and stuff. Like, there was a big party. Um, they had a boar on a spit, and I remember tasting it and thinking, boar is like pork, but like sauvage. It's like if you took pork and raised it on, like, moss and grass and, like, cedar greens. That's what a wild boar tastes like. I also covered her mom and myself in soda by accident, like a pop. And yet we still get along great. So I must have been absolutely magical in other ways. Oh, how did I get on that? The boar and it's because of the. I'm still thinking about Destiny's charcuterie board, which means I should really go and eat cheese. Although I can't go and eat cheese because the doctor says I need to cut out so many things. So many things. Because I need to apparently start living like I'm 52 rather than 22. And apparently when you're discussing this with your doctor, it is not better to burn out than it is to fade away. But yeah. How's it going, homie? I think I asked homie. Homie, did I ask you last time whether you have a purchase that you utterly regret, or did I say I would like to have you on to talk about stuff like that one day? I wonder if I have any bush gear that I really regret buying. Can't think of anything, but that doesn't mean anything. It just might mean that nothing's coming to mind right now. I've told you guys before, I have a mind like a steel sieve. Stuff just drips out and is gone. Country Boy says, don't listen to doctors, be happy and live your life. The final destination doesn't change. Yeah, but still, I mean, I'd like to see my kids graduate. And there's 7 years between them. It occurs to me how old I'm going to be when my second kid graduates university. Because she's in grade 1 now. That's a sobering thought. I was not expecting. Shit. Anyway. I am 99% sure that the doctor that the missus and the kids have was in the grade below me when I was in school. I walked in and I recognized that face. I was like, holy crap. She was on the French side of the school. So we weren't in any classes together, except I think maybe band and choir. But aside from that, the classes are pretty separate in that school. Homie says, I don't know, maybe a couple of the knives I bought, but I've had good luck selling them on eBay. Because that was going to be my next question is like, do you sell on stuff that you kind of regret, or does it just sort of sit in a drawer and like every time you look at it, like, I need to sell that? I'm wondering if like eBay is where I should be looking for some of my like dream items. I mean, I'm not spending money right now, as you guys remember, unless it's something for like my daughters or whatever, but I'm spending as little as I can. Which for an ADHD person is terrible because retail therapy is if you know someone with ADHD, way more often than not, they're bad with money. Because the dopamine hit of retail therapy is just, it's impossible to overcome. I wish I brought a blanket down. I should just buy one online. Just kidding. I know that where I was about to go with this was boring, so I'm just going to move on. Because I don't remember where I was going anyway, so move on. Hope nobody noticed. But yeah, it's good that you're sort of moving on the knives that you don't like, because in my philosophy, someone out there is going to love the item that you're not loving, and it's better to get that into their hands so that they can start loving it as soon as possible. That was my philosophy with when I was off gassing basses, like coming down to just two bass guitars instead of, oh god, some some. We're gonna leave it there. It's like, and I know that every bass I sold, someone out there is absolutely in love with, especially the two that I wasn't really ready to let go of, but I had bills to pay essentially. Um, but yeah, so I'm glad to know that that you're moving on the stuff that you're not loving. Oh, the sweaters came in. Both the alpaca and the wool hoodies both fit great. Like that. Yeah. Um, what I would like to have, especially for travel, I would like to have a set of merino clothes, travel clothes, like undies. Maybe not undies. I mean, because no, maybe not undies, because you got to wash that stuff. But merino is um, temperature regulating rather than just warming, and easy to wash, odor free. Sorry, guys. I looked into what it would cost to just sort of get a travel set of clothes made, not made, but in merino wool. Just walking in, like a shirt, pants, shorts. I don't remember what I looked up, but anyways, really honking expensive. Like, merino is not affordable, he said, disappointment clouding his vision, making his voice crack. Making his voice crack. I'm thinking that because of your sweaters. Hey, which do you like better, the alpaca or the? You're gonna like the alpaca better. It's got to be softer. You struggle heavily with ADHD, as do I. And I'm paying big money to a coach and a therapist to try and deal with this shit. And because I was diagnosed at 52, I have a lot of weight sitting on my shoulders about the dream jobs that I'll never have, but I could have had if we'd caught this thing at like 13. But when I was 13, there was no knowledge, like, at all. So anyway, moving right along. Oh yeah, you got a merino base layer set from Kuyu. I don't know that brand. Wait until Black Friday. Yeah, exactly. Just wait until next year. Tenenbaum has merino sweatshirts you wear daily. I could not afford to buy them now. Yeah, no, that's the thing. It's so expensive. It's so expensive. I really wish I'd brought down a blanket. I would get all nice and snuggly. Oh well. They are very different sweaters. Hard to call it. It's early. Oh yeah, because you're still. Yeah, I get that. Stuff was a lot cheaper 10 years ago. That is true. It is shocking to me how the prices. It seems like it's just since the plague years, the prices of certain things have just gone up and never come back down. I'm sorry, guys. I hate it when I do that. Where were we? Yeah. Merino was cheaper 10 years ago. Absolutely. I agree completely. And you just keep reminding me how, that Tamagami knife, how, whatever it was 10 years ago, I was like, as soon as my finances are a bit better, I'm buying that. But at the time that I said that, that knife was like 180, and now it's significantly more. Like whenever my finances get a little bit better, the knife gets more expensive. Same problem with that Osborne, the folder that I want so badly. Um, there's no way. It's not even a bucket list item anymore. It's a would have been nice. It's like the Gransfors Brook hunting axe. It was the exact same thing. When the money's better, I'll buy it. When the money's better, I'll buy it. But I've been saying that for like a decade, and it has gone up so far in price that it's not even on the long-term purchase list anymore. I just can't justify it. Dearly want it, but I just can't justify it, especially because I'm not going hunting anymore. Right? I wanted that axe so I could use that rounded pole to skin an animal and feel all like Scandinavian, I guess, or something. I don't know. But I was enchanted by that concept of just pounding the skin off rather than cutting and risking nicking the skin or the meat or whatever. You know, maybe when I'm not paying for therapy and coaching um, and I have another assessment coming up probably this year, which is going to be like another couple of grand for sure. I want a Fjallraven number 8 anorak to match my pants. 545 American bucks. At least I'll be the only person wearing it. Man, I look. Fjallraven's my favorite apparel company, for sure. Which should be of no surprise to you peeps because of my sort of Scandinavia fever and my love of the outdoors. My dabbling in Fjallraven is at the shallow end of the pool, though. You know, pants that are $200 kind of thing, shirt that's $200 kind of thing. But like, I cannot. Once you hit $500, I gotta think, decide that I want that, and then save up for like a year. You know. And some of the stuff I have that is from that shallow end, it's nice stuff. It's nice stuff. I'm not saying that like the $500 or $600, because that 545 American is probably going to be like a 620 Canadian kind of thing. I'm not saying that that's not going to be nice stuff. I'm just thinking about the numbers, right? Like the numbers don't move just because you want something. The bank account has a finite amount of buying power built into it on any given day, built into it from your income, you know? It's gone. It's gone. Exactly where I was going with this entire conversational thrust has disappeared. It's getting harder to smile through that, but anyway. Tenenbaum says, yeah, Fjallraven is pricey even here. I kind of feel that everything's pricey there, though. Like, like it never occurred to me that I would save money by buying in Sweden versus here. Though technically, I would expect to save whatever the cost of shipping from Sweden to or wherever they're made to Canada would be at least. Yeah, but I've looked at a couple of things on the actual Swedish site because I look at Swedish sites to sort of try to practice my Swedish. And yeah, expensive as hell, even there. Like there's practically no savings for not having to ship the thing, you know? Oh, homie, I was going to look up the Fjallraven number 8 anorak. Let me look it up. Excuse me. Oh my God, sinuses, leave me alone. So irritating. Oh, yeah. Okay. It's the one with the pocket across, right? Anorak number 8, male. Do you want to see what it costs in Canada, homie? And Tenenbaum? Although Tenenbaum probably already knows. Homie, you want me to show you what the price is in Canada for the number 8? Excellent choice, by the way. I think it's a fabulous looking coat. But are you ready? Subscribe for 10% off your first order. I've already subscribed. Screen. Oh, God, yes, I understand. Don't show me this again. Yes, let's proceed. Oh, for God's sakes, yes, allow. Why you gotta be so... Why you gotta be so rude? Are you seeing this? Are you seeing this? Like, for $650, who am I kidding? If I won the lottery, I'd buy that in a Montreal minute. Dark olive, absolutely. The laurel green is pretty nice too. I don't think I... Well, actually, that's a lot nicer than I thought it was going to look. I'm a little averse to buying the black of everything now. I'm a guy who for 20 years wore only black, okay? And so the way I deal with that now is I don't. But yeah, nice dark gray, especially with that sort of the accents of the light. Is that like a raw leather, an uncolored leather look? Yeah, it's yeah, it's nice for sure. It's totally nice, homie. Oh yeah, the olive. Yeah, yeah, cis fitted Canadian. Absolutely. Like holy schnitzel, man. So here's the thing. I do look. I'll be straight. I do feel that the stuff is overpriced, but I deeply love the stuff, and it is good quality stuff, right? Like my what are they, Vita Pro pants have been through the ringer, and they're still just like, give me more, right? Like I'm not, when I shudder at the prices being charged, I do think the stuff is too expensive, but I don't think you're only paying for the name. I think that there is a quality level that is there and that is solid and that is obvious. But to me, that jacket should be like 550 Canadian. I could maybe go, I don't know. It's tough to say. Like, even if it was like 580, 590, but like 650. Jesus. Jesus. Um, oh, Tenenbaum just put a link to a price aggregator to make comparison shopping easy in Sweden. That's a cool tool. I like that. Here's the thing though, like I always, so if I click on your price aggregator, right? Vi använder kackor på Price Runner. Okay, so they use cookies at Price Runner. I know. Acceptera. Nicka alle. So, Välistorlek is, okay, so that's small, large. I'm probably a medium, but it doesn't matter. Oh, Amazon rules on that pricing because the rest are all 5,999 kronor. Interesting. Like imagine, you sometimes see couples where, they've got his and hers of this or that. And like sometimes it's something like hyper expensive, like those giant electric bikes. Or like if you see like him and her with these number eights, popping down the wintertime trail, it's like, that's a couple that's got some dollars behind them, right? Country Boy says, I paid almost that much for a custom fit motorcycle jacket 30 yeah, but 30 years ago, right? 30 years ago, dollars, like that would make it at least $1,000 jacket now, right? Probably more like a $1,200 jacket. Tamabom says, Amazon.se is going to win. Yeah, absolutely. But I find it interesting that Amazon doesn't always win. Like there are some things, like I would never buy a Gransfors axe on Amazon because the prices are, or no, look, I haven't checked that in months. But last time I looked on Amazon for a Gransfors axe, the price is way above Lee Valley and Canadian Outdoor Equipment Company, like bizarrely above. And so some of the stuff you pay through the teeth, through the nose. What do you pay through for in English? But you pay crap tons more. And it's like I'm someone who used to just automatically check Amazon for the best price kind of thing, and nope. Like 90% of the time, he said bombastically, 75% of the time, I'm gonna check that price against something else. And like with a lot of stuff, like a lot of my journaling supplies, same price no matter what, and I'm not paying Amazon Prime anymore, so I don't get the next day shipping. So if I'm going to buy off of Amazon, or let's just say I'm buying a fountain pen, if I'm going to spend $235 on Amazon versus $240 at say Wonder Pens in Toronto, it's not coming next day from anyone. Am I going to give fucking Bezos my money, or am I going to give it to a small pen shop in Toronto? No brainer kind of thing. And the realization that the prices are not always best at Amazon is what sort of started me down this road. I mean, anyway, whatever. I don't want to get too far into the situation now and the Canadian boycott and all that stuff. But when I saw the price of Gransfors axes back like months and months ago, I was like, why? Because it's not just Amazon selling on Amazon anymore, right? There are other people selling on Amazon using it as either a drop ship kind of sales method, or just using it to get eyes on their product. And then, he's tripping over his own tongue. But yeah. Natur Compagnia has lots of expensive real estate to pay for, and employees that make a living wage. Okay. Yeah, for employees that make a living wage, I would pay the extra money for sure. Absolutely. I'm not one of these who was hating on like the $15 an hour minimum wage or any of that. Through the nose, that's it. And an arm and a leg, for sure. They do here. Yeah. Arm and a leg is what they pay for gas in BC. We pay a lot here as well. But I did notice that difference for sure. And the thing is, 75% of traditional retail, that can be some savings if you're buying stuff over the course of a year. let's just pretend that I had the money to buy the stuff for my winter camping episode. It's for winter camping, sorry, or even better, my 1970s camping episode, right? Let's just pretend I could afford to do that episode. If I was buying brand new stuff that was in the same style and technology that that item was back in the 1970s, then if at 75% of traditional retail, getting equipped would really be significant savings. I mean, you're still spending a funk ton of money, but if you're saving 25% across the board, that's pretty good, you know? Jim's here. 243 per gallon for gas here, not an arm and a leg here. I don't know how to even compare that. Like here it's I think I paid 147 per liter last time I gassed up, I think. Or it was supposed to be 147, but because of my CAA card, I saved 3 cents per liter or something. But I don't know how to make that transition. The one I really don't get is the difference between gas mileage in the US and gas mileage here. Because that's not just a math difference. That's a recasting the entire question difference. Right? It's like however many miles to the gallon. What? What? I don't know that. Like, I don't know how that works into liters per 100 kilometers. Because that's what mileage is in Canada. Mileage. That's what gas efficiency is, or whatever, right? It's liters per 100 kilometers. There's kilometers, if that's the way you talk. So I have no idea, like, what X number of dollars of gas here graded on liters per 100 kilometers would equal against the mileage and what you would pay essentially per mile in the United States. Country Boy says Vancouver is Tabernacle. Vancouver. Oh, fuck. Come on. Nope. Jesus. Oh, there it is. Vancouver is 180 per liter for regular. For you Americans, you can multiply that by 3.8 to see what it is a gallon. Yeah, but so here's the thing. David, the instigator, says U.S. gallon is 3.8 liters and the imperial gallon is 4.5 liters. Not a straight multiplication. No, it's not a straight multiplication. And the baseline for usage of that gas is different, right? If you're talking X number of liters per 100 kilometers versus miles per gallon, your base unit doesn't enjoy the same context. I'm very much a time equals money kind of, or time is money kind of person. Okay, wow. I was about to go on a very circuitous route to get to the point, and I realized not everyone has ADHD. So shut up, recast. To me, to my head, they're two completely different contexts, right? Liters per 100 kilometers, and then 140 or 180 per liter, right? Like I'm looking at the overarching economy here of the gas, whereas in the States it's blah 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 per gallon and miles per gallon. Miles per gallon. The gallon is the unit that you're measuring the miles against. In Canada, it's liters per 100 clicks. The 100 clicks is the unit that you're grading the gas amount against. And because I'm used to gas prices referencing those liters per 100 kilometers, right? So if whatever it is, 4, pretend, I'm getting mixed up in my own sort of thought process here. And I realize that I'm probably leaving some people behind. Not because I'm being more highbrow, but because I'm being boring. So somebody say something hilarious. Tim says that's about 88 cents Canadian per liter, which is damn good. Yeah, and then the currency conversion, absolutely. Tim says the difference is the taxes. Canada pays a lot more. So in Quebec, we have a couple of things. We've got like the Quebec taxes, but we also have a carbon tax, which is why nobody in Quebec gave a shit when Mark Carney canceled the carbon tax for gas, because we already had one. Like Carney canceling the tax, and I'm not getting political because I don't, whatever. I'm just saying that when he canceled the tax, that only counted in provinces that didn't already have one. We've had one for a long time, and you know what? Society has not collapsed. That's all I'm going to say about that. But like, yeah, there's a lot of tax involved in gas here for sure. And in Quebec, we pay more because we also have like the carbon tax in there. Christy, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, from memory, that it's a whole lot cheaper in many U.S. states than it is in any Canadian province, for sure. Apparently, Sweden's pretty close to that Vancouver price. That surprised me. I thought it would be more than that because I had this whole image of European gas prices just being way above and beyond what even we pay here in Quebec. But I remember the hue and cry when gas price in Quebec went above 67 cents. And everyone was like, oh my God. And we're not that long after that, and nobody even notices when it creeps closer and closer to $2 per liter. You know? David says, the carbon tax has done nothing to incentivize Canadians to reduce their carbon footprint. Yeah, it's a philosophy. I mean, it also depends a lot on which province, right? Like in Quebec, look, the place is completely run on electricity practically, right? And you're right to a certain extent in that we have a carbon tax. We have fewer frickin' F-150s on the road, partially because of that. But it's not the carbon tax that's moving people into electric cars. It's the fact that we pay nothing for our electricity here, right? Compared to frickin' Ontario, you guys are. I was about to use a word that would get me dinged, but like since Hydro was like privatized and that was Hydro One, you guys are paying an unfair amount for your electricity. Like I don't know why there hasn't been a class action suit against that or something. I don't know. It's because it's hard to make a class action suit stick, but you know, it's shocking to me what you guys pay for your electricity. Shocking, because now it's a profit driven enterprise, right? So I guess it shouldn't be shocking. Or no, it's shocking, but it's not surprising. But yeah, like, I mean, the people I know here seem to value fuel economy more than the people I know in Alberta, for sure, right? And I know a lot of people in Alberta because I spend part of every summer there palling around with other bands and stuff. I mean, look, the major thing is that it got politicized because everything gets politicized. I mean, we've had a carbon tax here forever and nobody cares because we care about things like language instead. Well, we have to remember, and this is not a political statement because I'm not saying right versus left because this is universal. You are outraged by the things that the people in power want you to be outraged over because it takes your attention away from the real problems. Think about everything you've been angry about for the past 20 years. Everything. And how much of it really counts. The stuff we get outraged about here in Quebec is ridiculous. In Alberta, they get outraged about the redheaded stepchild of the same stuff we get outraged about here because the people in power there are pushing a very similar agenda to what the people in power here push, but there's no soul to it in Alberta. It's fiscal. It's like we've been paying this and that. There's nothing cultural behind it. And people in BC, the things that they're outraged about are different, but there's always that same pressure on every population. And it's not, and I'm not saying this politically because I'm not saying that the conservatives are guilty of this and the liberals aren't. I'm saying that we are always pressured by the people in power, government or corporation, to keep us distracted from what they're really doing. And the carbon tax is just one of those things. It's just one of those things. For farmers, they didn't have to pay it. For, if you drove a car that wasn't ginormous, it didn't really make a difference. But it was useful for many people to have people angry about it, But I'm too smart for them. Country says the real problem is the people in power. Absolutely. More than ever. And by the way, I'm really talking more about captains of industry than I am about whoever the hell's in government for the next 4 years. I would say affordability is a big issue for sure. A lot of companies took advantage of the pandemic, right? Like prices went up and I could see that and I understand that. And, the infrastructure problem, like goods moving around the world. Yeah, I get it. Not all the prices came down when the world got better though. And it's like, really? Is that how much I'm spending on a loaf of bread right now? Galen Weston? Jim says, it's crazy how expensive hydro is here in Michigan. I live near a large river that the electric company has numerous dams that create the energy. You'd think it would be cheaper. It should be. I mean, if you're not like paying for coal-fired power or something, it should be very cheap. I mean, it's extremely cheap here. It's so cheap that when Russell and I ran the numbers, because I would really love to put solar panels on my house. And he was like, dude, for what you pay, I could not sell you a system that it would take less than 20, 25 years to pay for itself in Quebec. He said, if you lived in Ontario, you're buying a system. But in Quebec, it's like, I still want it because it's not only about the money. It's about not caring what hiccup Hydro-Quebec has today, right? Because I lose my power a fair amount. I was going somewhere and it's gone. It irritates me how often that happens to me. Were you getting political, David? What the hell? Let me scroll back. No, I think the only thing you said was that it has done nothing to incentivize Canadians to reduce their carbon footprint. And I don't see that as a political statement. I see that as something that a lot of people believe. And in some provinces is absolutely true. Um, I don't see that as political. I don't want you to not look. If you were saying like, oh, fuck Trudeau or whatever, come on. But I see that as a reflection of in some areas of the country that's absolutely true. Absolutely. You know? And I mean, even when you do get political, you're still pretty respectful about it. So it's kind of hard to ding you, you know? Um, Jim says, I mean, down in Florida. What did I miss? Let me scroll back a bit there, Jim, because I want to make sure. I do not know what that. Are you saying that instead of Michigan? Is that what you're? All right, Chris. You know, I'm getting out of here 8 minutes early. Early start. You're going to be in California tomorrow. Thanks to everyone for the support on my book adventure. Chris, seriously, let me know as soon as it's live again on Amazon, and I absolutely will buy it. I will get my brain to remember because I'm interested in having that conversation with the others who've already bought it, and then sort of doing a little book club kind of thing. I like that. How long is the book? Does anyone can anyone tell me if it's like a long read or a relatively short read? Because I'm. How did I do that? I just got whiskey directly in my eye. How does that happen? Ah, the pain. The pain in Spain stays nearly on the plane. That means nothing. 250? Okay, good. Nice. Oh, Jim was asking David if he was back home with his wood stove. Okay. All right. I totally missed that. I mean, I miss everything though. So it's not exactly out of my way, is it? I got to get this Anorak number 8 off of my browser. Homie Omi's got good taste in stuff, man, because a lot like our taste in knives is very different, but I can see the attraction to a lot of the stuff. But like his taste in like the Fjallraven stuff is very bloody similar to mine. I mean, I have looked at that Anorak number 8 for a long time. And I just keep thinking, not this year. Yeah. Oh, this is perfect. Oh, I wish Chris was still here to see this, country boy. It's 250 pages with a lot of spacing. It's a short read that I have to wait for until my lady is done with it. That is cool. I love the fact that you guys are sharing it in your house. Now Fitzy's Fitzy. Oh God, change your name so I can stop calling you Fitzy. Destiny's saying the important thing here. Let's get real here. The real problems that we all need to get upset about is bras. How many decades have we had a need for them? And they're all crap. Don't get me started about their cost. Absolutely. Absolutely. Free the boobs. The reason I love what you just said there is because I keep seeing this ad on TikTok about, traditional bras don't work, but look at this one. And I'm like, why am I getting this ad? Like, why am I getting an ad for bras? I mean, yes, if I put on 1 more pound, I'll have bitch tits, but I mean, why does TikTok know that? You know what I'm saying? One wash and they're shite. I tell you, shite. Hanging to dry is important, he said through experience. absolutely hang to dry. But yeah, uh, Jim is bailing out. Tracy and I are buying a new vehicle tomorrow morning before work. Wait, wait. Why didn't you mention that like an hour ago, Jim? I would have had many questions for you. Hashtag free the boobies. Um, ah, Jim, how do you say that as you're on your way out? My IP is getting an ad for bras. Oh, you think because I live in a house of like all females? Yeah, you might be right about that actually. Fitzy says, that's my rant. I'm not taking it back. No, I don't take that back. Don't take that back. David says, Destiny's going to do a live and burn her bras. I'm there. FTB. FTB. I love it. Yeah, exactly, country boy. What the hell's Jim buying? But he's gone. I mean, what the hell? Somebody ping him and say that I expect we, the group, I'm very collectivist, okay? The group expects a full report on the new vehicle next Tuesday. You let him know that. I often think about like I've mentioned to you guys before, like I have this thought experiment that I do every now and again, where the context is I've won 30 million bucks, so I don't mind, you know, and sometimes it's like, yes, I would buy, like set up a hobby distillery, not dependent on sales or anything, but like just to have fun, put away a cask of single malt for 10 years, put away a cask of rye for 10 years, and then just play. Um, Other times it's like, I have this, top 5 bass guitars kind of thing. Would I buy 1 or 2 of those? When that comes around a lot, it's like, what vehicle would I want if money was literally no object? And in fact, it's funny because I did a journal entry on this. I know exactly what the vehicle would be. There's a company, I think it's in the States, called the Land Rovers. And what they do is they take like Defenders and restore them or update, shall we say. Electric Land Rover Defender. The last model with the flippy little things under the windshield, but I want AC in it. Fully updated interior. They're expensive as funky funk. But if I was a multi-millionaire, that's what I would want. Because that's the Land Rover from the era that I fell in love with the Land Rover for. That's from the era when 75% of all Land Rovers are still on the road, right? Like these current the Tata Motors, like now that Land Rover is Indian owned, but that's India is not the problem. It's corporate greed that's the problem. The Land Rovers now, I do love the looks of the new Defender. I don't know if I would buy one though, because it's a lot of money and I know it would let me down. But one of these, I think it's called the Land Rovers. I think. It's got to be electric though, or at least no. Okay. Here's the thing: if money's no object, and I can say here's what I want, plug-in hybrid, because the Land Rover is the one I want to take camping, or all the way to Toronto, kind of thing. So I don't think I want a full-on electric for that. Plug-in hybrid, running on like the Toyota, like the RAV4 running gear, probably. Makes me lick my chops. Lick your chops? Is that what it is? Yeah. But yeah. Um, that would be beautiful, especially because that company, if I'm getting the name of it right, they really do sweet work for sure. It's 11:02, so we're at time. I just want to, yeah, cliffhanger exactly. Uh, Serge says good night, nodding off. Good night. Sleep well. Bonsoir, Serge. Says Destiny. Oh, Destiny's here till the bitter end. Holy snap! And I believe that David's also here till the bitter end. Country boy. I'm looking at leasing a Maverick hybrid short term while my truck goes to my mechanic for 10K worth of repairs and upgrades. Holy snap. Ping me to tell me why you need to spend 10K on upgrades and fixings. Fixings? What? Oh, Jim's still here. A blacked out Chevy Traverse. I want to know more. Next Tuesday, let us know all about it. Yeah, I want a new truck, but the wife needs a new vehicle too. Fair enough. So she wins. I understand completely. Let me tell you. David's still here. I get it. I'm happy to see it. I release all of you. We are now at 23:03. So I need to go to bed, and you guys also need to go to bed. And I'm happy that you guys stuck out with me until the bitter end, all 12 of you. And everything just froze. Oh no! Wow, that was weird. Until next week, everybody, please, for land's sakes, hold on. Let me stop sharing that. Between now and next week, everybody, I gotta do at least once every show. Be safe. Be healthy. Be sane. Be kind to one another.